buddy.
Hi, friends. Well, from beautiful and unseasonably warm Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
A podcast exploring religion, current events, and a lot of other things from two atheists who are just trying to make it in this ever-darkening world.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, you talk about darkness. Here's some light that's being cast onto the origins of life on planet Earth.
Life itself.
And this is from the NASA's asteroid samples that were brought back like a couple years ago. Yeah. And a wonderful article was released this week that's talking about some of the findings, and it's remarkable. And we're going to be talking about that on the second half of the show.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. I feel like also like what I'm excited about, Dan, is that as an atheist show, we're just going to be talking about something so perfectly just not actually religious. Well, we always talk about religious crap that's happening.
Well, I mean,
and this is like science, and it's going to be cool. And
yeah, it is cool.
It's anyway, I'm excited.
Hurrah.
Dan, some things happened this week, things that we need to talk about.
Okay.
Including, Dan. Dan.
Did I do something? Is it me?
It's always you, Dan. No, this is a group that we've talked about before, at least in passing on the show. Arab Americans for Trump. This was a group that formed.
All three of them?
Apparently, quite a few of them, actually. As I don't know if this piece of news was lost in the mix. But did you know that Dearborn, Michigan, actually went for Trump?
No, I did not.
He won in Dearborn. The first Republican presidential candidate to do so since the year 2000.
That's crazy.
And I'm starting to wonder.
He basically, his whole platform was, hope you weren't paying attention last time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is remarkable that people sort of were like thinking they'd get something different this time.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway.
Do they just not remember that he tried to deport all of the Muslims?
Dan.
Anyway, okay. Tell me the current story. What's new? What's happening?
Well, so, I mean, you heard about Donald Trump expressing a desire to have the United States take over the Gaza Strip, right? You heard about that?
Turn it into the newest Trump resort town,
the Riviera of the Middle East, I believe he called it. Yeah, totally, like, just total, like, great place for some Trump casinos, right? To go in. Yeah. It's going to be just beautiful. It's going to be like the best Riviera. Anywhere.
All you have to do is just some mild ethnic cleansing, and it will be perfect.
So, Dan, that was going to happen anyway. So,
Oh my god.
No, I'm saying from his perspective.
I know.
I'm not saying I agree with this. In fact, I think it's awful. It's a horrible suggestion, and we could get into all the particulars of why and how, from moral and ethical to just practical to like just long-term strategic planning. Like, it's a terrible, terrible idea. It's awful, right? Also, at the same time, as he's seemingly dismantling anti-terrorism type stuff, further like push people out of their land and fully radicalize them. Right? Like, brilliant idea, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing that people like more to like anyway, or like hate America. Sure. Yeah. Go blow something up now. Right. Because he just dismantled the CIA. That's the kind of stuff I'm thinking about. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, a guy by the name of Bashar Bahba he was the chairman of this group, Arab Americans for Trump.
Okay.
He announced that the group is changing its name because of Trump himself, and they're now going to be Arab Americans for Peace.
Because they found out, oh wait, that's who Trump is? We thought it was a different guy. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I know. I hate to feel like this degree of schadenfreude for these people who thought they were going to get something different. And it's just terrible. It's such a terrible, sick feeling that I'm feeling, actually. Like, it's like it's not schadenfreude, because schadenfreude is one where you sort of delight in it. And I'm not delighting in this. I feel a certain sort of, I told you so-ness, right? Like, I could have told you this. Like, if you just asked me, I would have gladly told you guys.
Like we were banging the drums. We and everybody else were banging the drums. Like, you can't trust this guy. He is going to be worse. And then they were all, and everybody on the internet is coming down hard on all of the non-voters and all of the protest voters and whatever, because we told you so.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so here's the deal. And I don't want to like speak of a whole group very broadly or whatnot, but like Arab Americans tend to be socially conservative, right? They're by and large
very much so.
By and large, they're Muslims, right? Which is wildly conservative on so many social issues. And so it does seem like in a lot of ways the Republican Party is a good fit, right? For people who
like
are
the
socially
old Republican Party, other than the fact that they're the ones that hate Muslims the most.
Yeah, which is why Muslims have largely sort of stayed over on the Democratic side. But it's always been an awkward fit, right? It works on sort of a social justice perspective, but when you start actually like looking at like the cultural and social aspects of the whole thing, it makes sense. That side is conservative, supposedly.
Yeah.
Right?
The problem is the conservatives hate all the right people, but then they also hate you. So what do you do? What do you do
well,
when
I think they figured, here's probably a thought, right? Like, how do we demonstrate our Americanness,
right?
Our conservativeness any stronger than this gesture of being Arab Americans for Trump. Like, we'll make a big splash of it. We'll deliver Michigan, which by and large they probably kind of did,
right?
For Donald Trump, and he'll be so grateful. Right,
he'll definitely see the error of his ways once he finds out how much we liked him.
He won't do dickish things to other Arabs. No, surely not. No, yes, he is. And the Palestinians, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I know that, like, I mean, half of the whole thing is let's rebuild Gaza. If he just stops there, great. Let's do, right? Like, let's make some friends in the world, right? Like we desperately need them, right? Like, let's go dump some money into Palestine and say we're sorry, right? For supporting
I don't
Israel
think
so completely, right? Like, but
Anyway,
it's
there you go.
It's a mess. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be. This shit ain't good. This shit's bad.
Yeah.
We got some bad shit coming on this one. Because I don't think he's going to succeed with the whole thing. Right.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't know what he's going to succeed with.
Yeah.
The cards are stacked in the weirdest possible way right now. So I don't know. Like, anything's on the table. It's all possible right now.
I know.
Because he's Hitler, and I don't.
He's
know what's
not
happening.
Hitler. He's
Hitler.
He's
Anyway.
Trump.
Yeah,
and it's going to be different. It's
different.
So the whole history. It doesn't repeat. It rhymes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's Shitler, right?
Shitler.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take us to beautiful New Orleans in the fair state of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
A very Catholic state. I don't know if you're aware of this.
That's true, yeah.
Matter of fact, the things it's most famous for have Catholic roots. You know, Mardi Gras is a Catholic thing. It's not is it? Like, it's the thing you do before you be Catholic. Kind of whatever. Anyway, so the Catholicism runs strong in New Orleans, and a lot of New Orleanians are deeply Catholic and support their Catholic church. So I guess it's not surprising that it came out recently that when the New Orleans Archdiocese was, sort of up to their noses in lawsuits about, child rape by priests, which we're fond of saying, if you've got a diocese, you've got a child predation problem. Here's the thing. It's hard to know what to do,
right?
When you get caught protecting pedophiles, it's hard to know. What do you do? How do you save a little face? Well, the Archdiocese didn't know what to do, so they went to the New Orleans Saints, which is the NFL football team,
Right.
which is what they're the owner of the Saints is a big old Catholic lady, and boy howdy, they a lot happened with the Saints. So it's just come out that literally hundreds of emails were exchanged between the Archdiocese and the Saints, and then hundreds more internal, like over 300 emails amounting to more than 700 pages, according to The Guardian.
To do what?
Of trying to work the PR of this thing.
Wait,
literally,
like just trying, like getting their advice on
getting getting all of their advice. Literally, the people from the team were calling their friends in the press and saying things like, "Hey, let's soften this up. Let's try and make this look." They were trying. They were doing their best and blah blah blah. But also, I think that there were moments where they literally people from the Saints were working with like authorities to get people to get priests knocked off the list of pedophiles and stuff. Like, it's
what
crazy. Like, they did so much. They went insanely out of their way to make sure that that this was handled, that like the Catholic Church came out as not disgustingly dirty as possible.
And in the process, this story comes out.
Oh, we have a pivot.
Huh? No, I'm just saying.
The
news comes out that they are really even worse.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. It's so funny because it's actually easy to do the PR on this. Yeah. The PR on this is, we fucked up royally.
Yeah.
We are paying millions out.
Yeah.
We're fucking sorry, and we're going to do everything we can to fix it. Like, that's it. That's the whole PR thing.
You're going to be sued into oblivion. So just say we recognize that we will probably be going bankrupt over this.
Yeah.
And we're terribly sorry. Did we say we're sorry?
Here are the steps, the concrete steps that we are taking to ensure this never happens again.
Yeah.
PR for this is easy.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to admit to it, unless you're being cagey and not being and not actually taking full responsibility for something that 100% is your responsibility.
Yeah. And this was Archbishop Gregory Aymond. Is that his name?
It was.
Aymond.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, this is the focus of my story, Dan.
Oh,
also in New Orleans. And and this is sort of in the wake of this whole mess of they've all these stories are coming out of all these predator priests. They're being sued into oblivion. They are offering. They've proposed offering $113,000 to each abuse survivor. The survivors want $1.8 million apiece.
Yeah,
and so the numbers are starting to get really, really large, and there's the archdiocese is scrambling to find money, and so they're going and looking for money in some surprising places. Apparently, they've had a long-standing relationship with a food bank.
Sure.
For about 4 decades, the Second Harvest Food Bank and the Catholic Church have been have had really close ties, and so close, in fact, that the food bank is considered a Catholic ministry, and the bylaws of the organization sort of place the archbishop in a very powerful position over the food bank itself. Should he ever desire to control it, he could effectively, but there's been an executive director and a board and so forth and so on, and they've been off doing their good work, right? They actually do. They've got a very large budget, and they feed a lot of people.
It is nice when you actually hear about Christians doing anything Christian-y at all.
Yeah.
That's actually a nice thing.
And this is a lot of people have gotten fed because of this food bank. Well, anyway, desperate for money, he fires the executive director and several board members, installs the archdiocese chief financial officer as the interim CEO, and everybody sees through it just as quickly as they it was so obvious from the beginning. He's after their money, right?
It's a money grab.
This is a money grab. They had been in negotiations to sort of kind of separate and kind of part ways a little bit. Probably still closely affiliated, but the Second Harvest was in negotiations to buy about $16 million worth of assets from the archdiocese. But apparently that wasn't enough. He's going after the whole kit and caboodle. Which, let's see, their holdings. Let me find where their holdings were listed out. They've got all sorts of money invested. They got cash on hand, and they have like a massive annual budget.
This is this
food bank.
Food bank.
Yeah. I'm struggling finding it, but suffice it to say, it's a sum of money that would help in the diocese current situation. But he had to put a video, right? He released a video statement where he says things like, the characterizations of the archdiocese as stealing money from the hungry are completely false. This is Aymond, right? The most difficult part of this is that it may have been preventable if all parties, including myself, would have put aside our pride and negotiated in good faith without threats of litigation. Right?
Oh my God.
He's just like, nah, fuck it. I want all the money.
That is bizarro.
Yeah.
Literally taking food out of the mouths of hungry people.
Oh, he says he's not, though, Dan.
Well, if he says he's not, then my apologies.
Oh, here we go. So their 2024 audit showed $89 million in net assets, including $32 million in investments and $102 million in revenue.
Imagine how many starched collars that will pay for.
Well, no, he's taking this money and he's giving it out. He's taking it from the hungry and he's giving it to these people over here who are suing him.
But what I'm saying is like he's doing that rather than like selling off all of his like.
No. He wants to sell somebody else's assets. Not the church's.
Yeah.
No,
exactly.
No way. So this was the problem: is the charity's bylaws describe the archbishop as the group's sole member, and therefore give him the authority to appoint and remove board members and the CEO.
That's the game then.
Yeah,
he wins
if he is the sole member. Dun dun dun.
He wins, and all of the hungry people can go suck it.
Just fuck them.
Well, who do they think they are? Calm down.
Somebody will feed them.
Oh Lord. Well, I'm going to take us to a story about we have so many stories about pastors being fired. I skipped a story about a guy, an update about a pastor that we had already talked about a while ago. He was arrested, anyway. Here's a pastor. This is a fun story. It's out of North Carolina, and it's a guy named Ben Boswell. Mm-hmm. And this guy, he's the pastor at Myers Park Baptist Church.
Okay.
But there's an interesting little catch for this. Myers Park Baptist is apparently, theoretically, one of the left-leaning churches. Oh. One of the more
a Baptist one?
Yeah. Yeah. And had that reputation, and that's who they drew. Apparently he was too left for them.
Oh.
He recently gave a sermon in which he likened Trump and that moment. This was a few weeks ago. This was before stuff got really real. But he likened that moment in history to the quote gathering dark of Hitler's rule.
Oh.
I don't disagree. Anyway, he said that the election of Donald Trump would lead to the quote crucifixion of immigrant families, as well as trans and non-binary people.
Yeah.
So this guy gets it, right? Like this guy is actually worried about the poor and the marginalized and the vulnerable in society. To me, that feels like the Christian message that needs to be out there at this moment. He was fired.
Wow.
Yeah, totally
For
kicked out.
Too lefty.
Well, here's the thing, and I think that this is actually astute. One of the deacons from the church was talking about the fact that church isn't pulling in the numbers that they used to. They're not getting the butts in seats.
Oh,
I think butts in seats was an actual quote from one of, as these deacons met to decide the fate, or as the board met to decide the fate of this guy.
Okay,
they're talking butts in seats, and literally, one of them said this is Deacon Robert Dulin, I don't know. Anyway, who said he's been hearing parishioners complaining, and one of them here's his paraphrasing of the complaints he's hearing. He said, people were saying, "I am tired of being indicted because I am white. I am tired of being banged over the head every week about immigrants and LGBTQ, and I just want to come to church and be encouraged." And I think that's probably true. I think the problem with church in general is that if you actually preach the gospel, meaning the hard parts that Jesus was saying, like, you have, like, sell all of your stuff and give it to the poor. Like, don't ever be rich. it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. All of these things, like, those are hard. Be kind to everyone. Take care of each other. Come, like, welcome the stranger, and all of those things are hard, and they make you feel like you're not doing well because you can't live up to it all, and because you want to hate the people you want to hate and whatever, and people are leaving because they don't feel raised up and encouraged.
I doubt. Anyway, I have no idea what they were saying over the pulpit, but that's wild, Dan.
Yeah.
That's
so there you go. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't as a pastor right now.
Oh my goodness. You probably just shouldn't then.
Yeah, don't past.
Yeah.
Just cease pasting, you pastor.
Alrighty, Dan. We have a story of a copycat of sorts, I suppose. Last week we talked about a famous Quran burner up there in Sweden who was killed probably by some Muslims who were pissed off.
I think that's a safe assumption.
That's probably what it was. And so I guess in some ways it is a little bit surprising, although maybe not, that the following week another person would decide to go on to some sort of online streaming whatever and burn a Quran live in a town square while yelling at people. This guy was in Manchester in the UK. Martin Frost, 47. He's been charged with using threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior to cause harassment, alarm, or distress. And and it's kind of interesting because like this is a thing that people do. They want to be provocative, right?
Yeah.
They just hate Muslims so much and they want to piss them off, right?
Right.
And
as we've all learned, that's the right group to fuck with.
Yeah, you want to maybe make a stand, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you do, but maybe you also just get up and say, I disagree with you on X, Y, and Z, rather than burning their holy book, which can get you killed. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought though that the crime with which he's being charged is an interesting one because the thing is we do have freedom of we have to protect freedom of speech, freedom of expression, right?
Sure.
It's pivotal. But we don't protect all freedom of speech, right?
No,
you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the classic example, right? You can't incite violence, right?
Yeah.
And so
anything that's going to cause danger to the public.
Yeah. And so often the laws that I kind of hear about are, you don't want to hurt religious feelings. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, boo hoo. Oh, your poor religious feelings getting hurt. Right.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the charge, I kind of wanted to discuss, is somebody getting close to coming up with the right law about this, right?
Okay, say it again.
He's been charged with using threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior to cause harassment, alarm, or distress. Is that something that is that it? Are we close? Because here's the deal. I've been really mulling this over, and if you put it into a freedom of speech sort of argument, I'm like, yeah, damn straight. People can say whatever they want, and he's, I guess, accepting the responsibility. But isn't the role of government also to kind of just try to keep the fucking peace? And in a pluralistic society, aren't there, you can say that you disagree, right? You can have a civil discussion. You you can say, I've read the Quran and I don't like it, right? And that's probably not going to cause a riot. That's probably not going to cause a murder to happen, right? Down the road, yours. And so you do want to keep the peace, right?
And you don't want to foment hatred.
Yeah.
And stir people to hate each other and make enemies out of country people.
But you also can't stifle expression. And so it's just like,
it's tricky.
It's such a tricky.
This is why we have hate crime law. This is why that.
I know. And it is burning a Quran, especially in front of people, because he went down to a town square, right? He did this in front of a memorial in Manchester. A memorial of 22 people who were murdered in the Manchester Arena bombing. Right. So he goes down, he does it in front of that. I don't know how busy the street around there is with pedestrians and whatnot, but one imagines that he's doing this in a public place to be as public, right? To be as obvious about this as possible. I don't know. Yeah. I think that there needs to be something, because it feels like burning a Quran is it close to yelling fire in a crowded theater?
I think it's almost indistinguishable at this point. I think the results are almost guaranteed to be worse. Than actually yelling fire in the theater.
I don't know, because I want there to be some sort of, we need to discourage these people from doing this, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, I guess do it and accept the consequences. That's one approach. There's a part of me that's just like, yeah, let the fuckers take on the risk. But at the same time, like,
no, because it hurts so many people that aren't involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so much pain and hatred that, some little girl who has done nothing wrong is going to show up somewhere wearing her hijab that her mom put on her, and is going to be screamed at because Muslim hatred has been pushed another step further. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm okay saying no. This is not. It's okay to silence certain kinds of speech.
And as long as it's not so specific that you're like, you can't burn Qurans. That can't be a law. Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I mean, what's the difference between saying like,
well, because like this law is broad enough that it protects anybody from hateful speech and from being harassed and whatnot.
Well, and saying you can't burn a Quran would also then affect Muslims who might have some ceremonial burning of a Quran that's respectful or something like that. So yes, it's just got to be about.
Oh yes, because it touched the ground, Dan.
Well, that was what was always funny to me about the let's pass a law that says you can't burn a flag in the United States, and then it's like, but how do you get rid of a flag? What's the respectful way to get rid of it? Oh, it's burning it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, you have to eat it now, Dan. You have to
slowly and share it with friends. Yeah. But yes, cut it up with knife and fork. Pinkies out, everyone.
The most respectful way to dispose of a flag.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I'm going to take us now to a small win. Just outside of Toronto, Canada, there is a town called Cobourg, where back in December, they one of their citizens decided to request that December be designated Christian Heritage Month.
Oh.
That's Jesus's month. They get the whole damn month.
That's my month.
No.
That is my special month.
As long as you're celebrating Christian heritage that whole time. Anyway, the town council decided to go along with this. They just sort of, that sounds nice. Let's just do that. So Obviously when something like that happens, someone in our camp might pay attention to that. Yeah. And that someone in this case was Bob LeDrew, who then decided he did the right thing, which is you just go to them and you say, okay, then us too. And he didn't even go for a month. That he knew that would be ridiculous. He said he basically asked the council to designate March 23rd as Atheist Awareness Day.
Okay. Okay.
That seems like deeply reasonable to me.
Sure.
He was, of course, he was shut down. He was told no. And the reason that he was given was that the town's policies say that you can't do anything that, quote, that involves, quote, religious organizations or the celebration of religious events. No proclamations in that do that.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah. They have a rule, Frank. You can't just do some religious thing.
Wait, I'm trying to think this through here.
Wait, did you back up to a previous thing we talked about?
I'm trying, brain not compute, Dan.
So he appealed and said, excuse me. One does remember a certain whole month that the council decided to make, and other people wrote in too, and basically just said, he wants a day, and not for nothing, atheism's not a religion,
right?
Like Atheist Awareness Day does not fall afoul of this rule.
Yeah.
However, Christian Heritage Month or whatever the fuck, sure as fuck does. Yeah. So, like they're wrong literally at all the points on this board. Like when you connect, where you got the push pins and the yarn, there's literally no place that they have gotten it correct.
Wow.
So basically he went back to the council and said, hey, ding dongs, reconsider this. And they did. And they said, we're not going to do Atheist Awareness Day, but also December wasn't Christian Awareness Month. We were kidding. And they took it out.
Oh.
They un-Christian Heritage Month.
Wow.
So they're gonna, there you go.
But instead they're going to do White People Awareness Day.
They're going to do Jesus Christ Awareness, Philosopher Jesus Awareness Month. It's a philosophy. It's a relationship. They're going to do Jesus relationship.
Nice. Oh, sounds beautiful. I can't wait, Dan.
Oh my God.
Will you follow up with that story?
No, that is the follow up.
Okay.
It's all over.
All right.
But a small win. I'm going to call it a win.
Yeah, no, well done, actually.
Yeah.
Really well done. That's the way to do it.
Bob LeDrew, well done. All right. Well, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, or feelings you want to share with us, please feel free to send them in to us. podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. We'd love to hear from you. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There's more show coming up.
Well, Frank, we had some folks write into us. A friend of the show, Steve, wrote in. Hi, Steve, who wrote, hi, gents. By the time the Mormons arrived in the Salt Lake Valley, Native American, this is about, you remember we talked about the crickets.
The Mormon crickets.
We talked about the Mormon crickets.
Being renamed.
That are neither crickets nor Mormon.
Right.
They are now called the locusts of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. What are they? They're not locusts. I don't remember.
They're katydids.
Katydids. Can we call them that? Can that be what we rename them to? Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saint katydids? I want that. All right. That's that in my life. That's what they're called now. Anyway, Steve writes, by the time the Mormons arrived in the Salt Lake Valley, Native Americans had long been harvesting and consuming the dread Mormon crickets. In an article in the Nevada Historical Society Quarterly, and Steve includes the authors and when it happened, and I don't care about any of that stuff. They wrote that the crickets were roasted like seeds, ground into meal, eaten as mush or cakes, and were quite nutritious.
I don't doubt that.
So there you go.
I was worried they were going to claim that they were quite delicious. And I was
you
like,
don't know. A lot of people are claiming that
bug mush,
that in insect flowers is insect bread. Mormon cricket bread is the next big thing.
I'm sure they were I'm sure they were great. I'm surprised
haven't lived until you've had katydid sourdough. It's delightful.
Oh,
I'll get you a starter. It'll be great.
Oh, I can't wait. So
Steve says the best part of the article is the author's wrap up. A much more appropriate behavior in terms of energetic efficiency would have been to eat the crickets and kill the seagulls. Oh, I love it. It's what's fun. I guess the irony is that they were like worried about their crops getting eaten. Guess who was eating them? Another crop.
Yeah.
Just harvest that.
Oh, God, Dan. Gull meat is the worst.
Have you ever had gull meat? I was saying the crickets. I was saying they're the crop.
Oh,
that are eating your crops.
Oh, I thought we were gonna have like a big, seagull roast.
Oh, well, I'm all for it. What could be more delicious
than some seabird that's flown 1,000 miles inland? It's probably great. Yeah,
it's lived off of brine shrimp and garbage.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Josh wrote into us. Josh says, have you guys seen the movie Heretic? I'd be really interested in your take. Nope.
Yeah, me neither. Next.
No, the thing is that I'm very interested in that movie. And so I'm of two minds. One of them is I really am very interested. I've heard amazing things about it. I've heard it's very interesting. I hear that the depiction of the Mormon sister missionaries is actually quite good.
Oh, really?
And I've heard the performances are fantastic, and I've heard that it's philosophically quite interesting.
Oh, interesting.
But I hate horror movies.
Oh, so
So it's like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll probably end up watching it at some point.
Oh, poor Dan.
If anyone has any recommendations or thoughts about it, please feel free to write in. Josh, you can write in.
Well, what you should do, Dan, this helps with horror films, is read a full synopsis ahead of time. Like, know everything that's coming up, right? Yeah. And when you feel the tension start to rise, just look at the wall instead.
So what you're saying is full spoilers.
Spoilers.
You want everything's spoiled.
Everything's spoiled, and then you can sit through it, and you'll realize, oh, this isn't actually all that bad, and now I know where all the scary moments are.
Except that my whole thing about,
and then the next time you watch it again, and you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe. I don't like being startled. That's one of my main things.
Yeah, seriously. When the startle's coming, stare at the wall.
Well, that's the thing. I do know when the startle's coming. No one ever surprises you for real. I know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
I know that there's going to be the decoy startle.
Yeah.
It's just the cat jumping into frame.
Yeah.
Then the real startle. I know all of their tricks. I hate it. I'm still susceptible to it.
This is what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
You won't experience it if you're not looking at the screen.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The sound is so strong,
but it's disconnected from the startle. Yeah. I promise you, I've done this because I don't like it. I don't like them. I don't like.
We are sounding like, two just wimpy. It's fine. I don't like it. It's fine.
I like a good suspenseful movie.
Oh, I love a good
But there's something about like people. I don't know.
It works for some people's nervous systems. It doesn't work for ours. That's fine. Yeah. Here we go. I'm gonna move on. We've got some people to thank, and I'm gonna start us off with a couple people. We've got one, Teresa, who is now a teacher. Thank you so much, Teresa. Wow. Yeah. Enjoy your magic powers that we bestow on you. Mm-hmm. We grant you through the wonders of the internet. We are able to grant these powers and revoke powers. You know what I just did? I just took away some of the magic powers that Archbishop in New Orleans has. So
look at you.
I took those, and I'm actually giving them to Teresa. So thank you, Teresa.
Wonderful.
And thanks to Jennifer, who gave us a one-time donation over on PayPal. Thank you so much. You are now also a teacher, and the two of you are just basically like wizards, full-on wizards at this point. With the amount of magic that we're giving you, it is amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Dan, we have a new patron over on Patreon.
Wonderful.
By the name of AJ, and AJ is a new priest.
Oh, AJ, wonderful. You get even more wizard powers.
Yeah, so much more, much better.
Expecto Patronum anybody you need to. You just have to do it in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Yeah, and if you'd like to join these fine folk in supporting the show, please go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/donate. And the other great thing you can do is you can also leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen to us on. It is really helpful. We appreciate it tons.
And remember, it does have to be 5 stars, even if you want to give us 4. Even if 4 is what we deserve, it has to be 5 because you're counteracting unfair 1-star reviews from Christians.
Just in your heart, this is only a 4-star show.
It's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine. Just give 5 anyway. It's not going to kill you. It's okay.
But we really appreciate it when you do. And then, as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Davis.
More show coming up. All right, Frank.
Dan?
Listen. An asteroid is hurtling through space. It's coming right for us, or sort of not at all. I mean, there are some that are.
Yeah. Well, there's that one that has a 1% chance.
Yeah.
In about 8 years or so, 8-9 years. And I'm like, come on, asteroid.
Right?
Come on, asteroid.
You'll be too late, but at least you'll be doing it.
Come put us out of our misery, asteroid. There was this wonderful NASA mission a few years ago. I mean, they launched it a number of years ago. This probe had to do all these crazy loops around planets and blah, blah, blah. And then approach an asteroid, right? And collect samples and then come back to Earth. And it actually landed out here in the desert. The sample did, just west of us here in Salt Lake.
Oh,
did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it was amazing.
They're literally throwing space junk at us.
Landing space junk. They knew pretty close where it was going to hit, which is also amazing. Right. Anyway, so the thing lands. And it has all these samples that have been kept completely free of any kind of what do you call it? Help me out here, Dan. What's the word?
I'm not
contaminants.
Sure. There you go.
Free of any kind of contaminants. And so that they had just this great little glimpse at what's floating around out there in the solar system. And what's on these asteroids? Well, we kind of know now. They've announced
some breaking news
that they have results from these different tests and findings and whatnot. And
the results are that NASA's a liar.
Yeah. No, it's actually remarkable. They've detected 14 of the 20 amino acids that life on Earth uses to make proteins.
Right.
All 5 nucleobases. So that's the parts, the biomolecules that make up DNA and RNA.
Yeah.
And they've found crystals, right? Minerals, right? 11 minerals that form as water containing dissolved salts evaporates over long periods of time. So like this is amazing stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I think,
but I guess the main one is the source of like the building blocks of life,
right?
Floating around on a dead rock, lifeless rock,
yeah,
out there in space, showing that these chemicals are all out there.
Well, and have been out there since the dawn of our solar system.
Yeah.
Like this is a time capsule back in time.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so like we're gonna get all the science wrong, right? So this is not
What are you saying?
This is not Science Friday, is what I'm saying. Right.
Thank God.
I am not Ira Flato, and you are not I'm
so glad
the new one.
Ira Flato drives me crazy.
How
unlistenable.
Dare you, Dan?
Unlistenable.
Well, he has a new co-host, and she's pretty great. So if you've not been tuning into Science Friday because of Ira Flato, you now have also some of her, and she's
anyway
really wonderful.
This is non-science. This is atheist whatever Tuesday.
We want to we just kind of want to like marvel at how kind of profound this is, right?
Yeah,
and how like we just everywhere that science is able to look, we keep finding out more about life and how life came to be, and the less that some dumb creation myth is necessary to kind of try to help us make sense of shit.
Yeah, because the creation facts are more interesting.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I just think, one of the things that stands out to me in this, and I'm going to refute something that you just said.
Oh.
Is how kind of not remarkable this is. Like, literally, what's happening is we've already known for a long time that abiogenesis probably just happened. And that, the way we've known for a long time, probably the ways that it happened, including, these certain chemicals all being present in a soupy amount of water and, blah, blah, blah. So all this is doing is confirming, like, this is an interesting and cool and new way to confirm that that's how it likely happened. And it basically, but it really is just, at this point, it's just like, oh yeah, see, we were right. Okay. Now we just keep moving.
Yeah.
Like to some extent, this isn't really surprising.
Yeah.
It would be surprising if we never found those things.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think it's just sort of, it speaks to the abundance of it makes it all the more likely. Yeah. Right, that we'll find life in some form elsewhere, possibly even in the solar system, right?
Maybe.
And that's remarkable, and I think that like it just, I don't know, like I find it amazing, right? That you just you send it out and voila, boom, here's all of this more evidence, guys. They went to like they went out to fucking space and hit a rock with an or with a probe.
Yeah.
And they got all this shit back. And it's just
it's pretty cool. And the other thing is that like this asteroid could go and like plow into some Jupiter moon or something. And that could be enough to start life. Like They've long theorized that, it's possible that Earth was just floating around there and then got hit by an asteroid that had enough of the necessary components, and maybe Earth had the rest already, And it all just sort of, a bunch of luck of the draw happened. And suddenly, billions of years later, Donald Trump. It was all a mistake. It was a mistake. Stop doing life. No, there might be good life. I don't know.
I mean, that's the problem with life, right? Is that you're going to get, the occasional Donald Trump.
Well, there's, it's so funny. It's the problem of evil, right? Like humans, animals, everything suffers. All of the life suffers. So
wow.
So like, there's a bit of a nihilistic existential problem with just life existing, but here it is. It's here. Might as well enjoy what you can. Might as well be excited about it.
And suffer.
And suffer some.
Suffer because, life is like you said, it's very Buddhist of you, Dan.
Life is pain, princess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just quoting the great philosophers, that's all. All right, friends. Well, I hope that you find life in your life. Get out there and get inspired by space rocks.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty cool thing to do.
Yeah. And and marvel at how much smaller God keeps getting.
Right? Those gaps that God lives in there are fewer and fewer gaps.
Yeah.
He's just, it's not that God's getting smaller, it's just that his apartment keeps getting downgraded.
Poor guy.
Poor guy.
I mean, what did he ever do to deserve this?
Yeah, I know.
Dan.
I know. At least it's rent controlled. All right, friends. Well, if you would like to write into us or call into us, please call into us, write into us, all of the things. The email address is podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. We'd love to hear from you. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Hey, to support the show, go to thankgodimatheist.com/donate.
This episode was edited by Roger Gowdy, and music was provided by the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston.
Hey, thanks to all y'all for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank God I'm Atheist is a production of TGIA Media, LLC, copyright 2025, all rights reserved.